Pry open your third eye with me, your big-headed know-it-all, polymath Scott Spackey, and guests. Change your mind, change your life. Full episodes, services, knowledge, and all you'll ever need on scottspackey.com and life-mind.com. Are you ready?
Find me where the ocean collides with the sun.
Welcome to and welcome back to Pry Open Your Third Eye. I am your host and polymath, Scott Spackey, behavioral specialist, private counselor, advisor, big-headed know-it-all, and with us today is guest, co-producer, co-host, and number one student, Chloe Sempre.
Hi, everybody.
Real quick, what I want to do is I want to say thank you to the people who have been listening and watching this podcast. Considering we don't know what we're doing, we just started this and don't have any idea what we're doing, I think it's going pretty well. And so I really want to acknowledge that people are starting to listen. We're getting some listeners and some views, and it's getting some traction. And, you know, we just want to keep on going. So I just want to acknowledge that. I mean, I think it's really cool. We're getting there. Again, we got like 15 episodes already recorded, and I think we're doing one about every 2 weeks, you know, and so congratulations. You know, I think we're getting some traction.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. We've been having fun with this project, and we hope you're enjoying it as well.
Yeah, we hope that, you know, we want people to comment too. Send emails, send comments, subscribe, that kind of thing. All that stuff really helps. We want to keep this going. We're trying to create content that has some depth and meaning to it, you know?
Absolutely.
Every time I get views or comments on all the stuff that we get on YouTube and Facebook and the other places, it just empowers me. It makes me feel encouraged to keep going, you know? It makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
So
thanks
clickety
to
clack, people, send something. You know?
Yeah, reach out if you're interested, if you like what you're hearing, if you have questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, comments especially. Anything we can do better. Comments on topics, stuff you want to hear, to talk about. We got a whole lot of stuff we can choose from. And so, yeah, comments especially. I like to get feedback. We can't get better at this until people tell us what they like and what they don't like. Obviously, I've already had some comment about my slurring of words sometime, which is from my brain trauma. And I can't jump on every episode and say, by the way, I got hit by a truck in the face and my brain's all scrambled, so it's hard to speak sometimes. I can't say it in every episode. But I want to. When I see it play back, I'm like, oh my God. You know, people probably think I'm drunk. I wish I were drunk. That'd be great. This is like all the bad parts of being drunk without any of the good parts. It really is. Like I have some balance issues, some slurring issues occasionally, but it's not all the time. Like it happens very randomly, but I can't control it. Like it is what it is, you know? It's a bitch. I didn't slur on that, did I? Nope, it's a bitch. Not slurring on that. So thanks again, and please like, subscribe, listen, follow along, and we'll post more, and we'll always be updating and send people notice that what we're doing.
We just wrapped up reading the Indigo Children's section of Chapter 22 from Within the Portal, and we're next going to move on to the Soulmates section and read that and then divulge into that a little bit more.
The Indigo Children was a very brief part of that chapter. And the soulmates is the bulk of that chapter. I think it's very important. It's a very intriguing concept. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what soulmates are and how they work. And so I wrote this chapter because I wanted to clear some of this up. And I think that what this does, what the intention is if people have a broader and more accurate description and understanding of what soulmates are and how it functions, then it makes soulmate love and relationships more accessible to them, which we all want, and to be able to preserve it, protect it, and honor it, and really just makes it more dynamic.
Should we just get started reading it and then we can chat about it?
Yes, let me take just a few minutes to set it up. Where it is in the book and why it was added to the memoir. Within the Portal, a near-death experience memoir and guide to spiritual development begins with the death event itself, launching you into an extraordinary narrative. We get to know our main characters as they navigate through the experience. You know and see a real bond of love between them, but have no backstory until later. The word soulmate is never even used, but we see their connection is very special. The chapter we're reading today about soulmates explores and explains the soulmate phenomena, how and why it works, the cosmic principles and laws that govern it. Now, I've been in love many times, powerful, undeniable, true love. It is always magical and transformative, but being in love and having soulmate love are two different animals. Soulmate love has all the qualities that being in love has, but it also has more qualities and features that regular love does not. It has a very real awareness of being reunited with someone we've been searching for, and they us, for a long, long time. It has a history and timelessness to it. Today's chapter is going to explain why this is and give you a very personal example of it. Nothing can explain what soulmate love feels like. It is ineffable. But the awards I've won as a writer are for creative narrative writing, which is an art form of not just telling the story, but showing it. Some biographies and memoirs are told like a news story, an account of the events with explanation of what it was like. Creative narrative is a writing that lets you see and feel the story. Today's chapter on soulmates is the telling of soulmate love. In an earlier chapter, Happy Accidents, I show soulmate love in connection with how we were brought together in 2002. The first time we saw each other was back in high school when her boyfriend came to buy pot for me in 1983. Our lives had crossed paths. We'd even been in the same room together many times over 20 years, yet had never formally met. Jump to October 1999, when I bought my first home, which just so happened to be a few doors down from her house where she'd been living for over 10 years. Our lives had intersected many times, and now we were neighbors, and we still didn't meet until 2002. Fate finally got fed up with us missing each other when we met in a little fender bender accident a block away one morning where we lived. The chain of events that put us on the road that morning at the same time and place were unusual to say the least. The accident got us talking, and pretty much it was love at first sight, like we'd been seeking one another all our lives. We had a magical courtship, and on our first year anniversary, went to Italy, where we exchanged vows in a private ceremony in a 500-year-old church on the Arno River in Florence. The Happy Accidents chapter sweetly demonstrates how two soulmate souls are brought together with miraculous events. For the next 10 years, we had a regular stream of mysteriously magical events and an ongoing courtship. The chapter that follows it is Happy Pilgrims. It teleports from day one of these soulmates meeting to 10 years later, our 10-year anniversary, just 3 months before I was killed. For our 10-year anniversary, we traveled as spiritual pilgrims to sacred spiritual sites through northern India and Nepal. Like Eat, Pray, Love is a journey of self-discovery, Happy Pilgrims is a journey of spiritual discovery, giving readers and audio listeners a virtual tour of spiritual landmarks and exotic lands as two lovers share a profound spiritual quest, unraveling many mysteries of enlightenment and realization. Between the two chapters, we get a time capsule of a passionate and magical courtship in the beginning and the strong and stable bond of love after 10 years together. Since those two chapters show soulmate love, the chapter we're reading today is the telling of the soulmate phenomena. It is a mood shift in the book that explains the soulmate phenomena itself. I'm putting these other two chapters on the blog page for everyone to enjoy. How they exhibit the miracle quality of soulmates reuniting in a new lifetime after being separated in a prior one is sweet. Happy Accidents and Happy Pilgrims, an ebook and audio, are on the blog page for everyone to get. The address is on the screen, which is scottspacky.com. I'm happy to share them with you. They're fun, sexy, and beautiful. That's the setup for the audio chapter we're going to hear, Soulmates, from the book Within the Portal, a near-death experience memoir and guide to spiritual development. All right, let's get started, okay? Let's just jump right into the soulmates, and I'll read it from the book. Let's dive into soulmates. This chapter includes pictures. Chapter 22, Indigo Children and Soulmates. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching. Coming out the other side, step into the shadow. 46 and 2 are just ahead of me. Tool, 46 and 2. Soulmates. Contrary to popular misunderstandings, you can have more than one soulmate. I've had a couple in this lifetime. Soulmates are romantic partners with whom you share several lifetimes of romantic involvement. The almost instant love at first sight attraction we share with a soulmate is due to our higher consciousness remembering them and they us. Falling in love has the unique sensation of having known that person before because we have. The attachment we have with another binds us karmically, which destines our paths to cross again and evokes past feelings when we do.
A glorious feature of soulmate love is that it is far less conditional than usual. We are bonded more from prior connections and enduring struggles together than by personality. We bond over character, which runs far deeper than personality. My sibling sister and I in this life have been husband and wife, sibling, and even parent and child in prior lives. Brandon and I have shared teacher-student and apprentice-master rapport in recent lives. Two of the grandest loves I've shared in this lifetime were with soulmates. My mystic partner and Kundalini Tantric initiatress, dear friend and lover in this life, Leah, and I have been lovers many times. We shared several lives focused on magic, mysticism, and spiritual practices. We speak a secret language. We rarely have to speak to understand each other, even over great distances and after long periods of not being in touch. When we speak and collaborate on mystical concepts, we speak in terms as adepts and scholars that few outside can even understand. What may seem vague or obscure to others in our conversations are well understood between us privately, kind of like inside jokes, but with an added octave of profundity. How can you identify a soulmate? One sign is how you meet. The manner in which Jeanette and I met, how our lives had crossed paths multiple times before, how we fell in love, and the depth and brand of the love we shared was hallmark soulmate stuff. It's not too common or poetic for soulmates to meet online or at Starbucks, but it happens too. The bizarre fashion and coming together my lover Leah and I shared as hallmark as well. 2 years before we met, I had a haunting dream of her, and that same night was forced to drive 70 miles to a friend's house in North LA. On the way, just an hour after the dream, my tire blew out, forcing me off the freeway at 3 a.m. to find an open garage to fix it. Where this occurred was less than a block away from where Leah lived at that moment, but we had yet to meet in this lifetime. 3 years later, we would spend many long nights on our mystical practices with tarot, numerology, and sexual magic, all in her Long Beach apartment, just 2 blocks from the 24-hour service station that fixed my tire that night. She had dreamt of a mysterious stranger coming to her life that night too. The way you can call out and identify the type of prior relationship you had with someone in your current life is a formula. I'm going rogue here. This is not a field I studied in the Sanskrit text nor in Western mysticism. I have sampled and witnessed enough of these dynamics throughout my life that I have developed a theory on past life connections. 1. Take a look at the nature of your current rapport with someone. Romantic, sibling, boss, teacher, lover, enemy, rival? Don't look at the actual label of the relationship. The context and or quality of the relationship is what matters, not the label. My sister and I get along far more like sexless husband and wife than we do brother and sister. A good indication we were spouses most recently. Brandon and I function as father and son, but far more as teacher and student. I never feel he belongs to me nor I to him. He has entered this life endowing me with the opportunity to teach and guide him. In this life, I am in the teacher-guide role. He is the student. That doesn't mean it is a repeat of the same. In this life, I'm the teacher, but in our last life, he was the teacher and I was the student. I'm paying it forward. Many mothers and daughters struggle to get along. As a young girl matures, she often becomes far more defiant of her mother than her father and vice versa. It is very common for mothers and daughters to have been past life rivals, and it is carried over. Same with sons and fathers, and of course, many siblings reincarnate, feel a soulmate connection because of being family once upon a time, mistake this for romantic love and get married, typically resulting in a loveless, asexual marriage. They become more like sibling partners than husband and wife. My sister in this life refers to me as her soul brother. We've always had a soul-to-soul connection and been aware of a relationship over several lifetimes in various contexts. The hard ones are the ones we don't want to see. Denial is pretty, but reality is ugly. We've all been sinister, corrupt, wicked, violent, you name it. After several thorough past life regressions, I had to confront the bad with the good. I've been rich, famous, kind, charitable. I've also been a murderer of children, an abusive parent, and a sexual criminal. Bitter pills to swallow. Few who do the true work of past life regression go toward these lifetimes. Most people settle on their lives in Atlantean times or remember they were Napoleon Bonaparte. Sorry, a bit convenient. Unless you confront your own wickedness, you can't resolve these past karmic debts and get unbound from them. It is time to divulge the past life secret of my final soulmate in this life. Yes, obviously, Jeanette and I have several lives together that were magic and tragic to Shakespearean levels. But the one I didn't want to see, the one that has more influence over our karmic debts and obligations in this life, is far too dark and shameful. Just after we had romantically intertwined in this life, I saw two potential timelines, harmony and catastrophe. In the harmony one, we remain loving partners throughout our lives. In the catastrophic one, she hurts me like no one else possibly could. If your heart breaks over another, it is exactly proportionate to the quantity, quality, magnitude of your love and affection for them. The more you love someone, obviously, the more painful it can be if they hurt you. We've all hurt each other. We've all helped each other. We have infinite karma to fulfill. I hurt Jeanette in our last life together. So let's get right to it. The last life Jeanette and I shared was father-daughter. Brace yourself, because this is going to be exactly the tabloid scandal you think it is. Her mother died at birth, so I took on the role of a single parent. I was a good and virtuous man, religious and ethical. I was in the English Army. This was during the occupation of India. I requested reassignment from the UK to India because I was privately ashamed. My daughter and I had developed an incestuous relationship. The last life Jeanette and I shared together was our very last, most recent one, and we were incestuous lovers. There, I said it out loud for the first time. Even though she was complicit as she became post-pubescent, it was my responsibility to disallow our intimate connection. She was a child. I was an adult. We were close. We were all each other had after her mother died. She loved me. I was lonely. She was as near to my departed wife as someone could come, and it triggered shameful urges that I eventually gave into. No, I did not molest or abuse her in the conventional sense. She was complicit and even initiating in many ways. It didn't matter. She was a child. I was her father, and that kind of thing fucks you up. Out of guilt and shame and not trusting myself to be her father any longer, I requested reassignment to India and virtually abandoned her. She had developed deep romantic feelings for me and saw me as her husband, not her father. This had gone on long enough for her to feel it was all right if it remained between us, until I abandoned her. I didn't just disappear. I told her I was going, and I told her why. I set her up with cousins to live with, and I went to India to serve. This was during the climactic peak of India's independence, 1947, and as British troops left India, I went AWOL to remain in India. I sought spiritual truth as I struggled with my sins and shame and was introduced to Bhakti Yoga. I took a vow of sannyas, renunciation, and remained in Vrindavan, India, never contacting her again. Then I was killed, and my daughter, who thought she was my lover, never heard from me, nor ever even heard I had been killed. She lived her life convinced I had abandoned her, and as she matured, had to come to terms with the ancestral relationship she and I had, over which she had no closure. This is surprisingly difficult to speak of, and not because of the obvious shame from inappropriate behavior. It is difficult because past life regression brings more than memories to the awareness of your consciousness. It brings the feelings. I loved her. I felt terrible for abandoning her. After that life, with Portal Life Review Preview, I saw how I had hurt and confused her when I left. It haunted her for the rest of that lifetime. This pain between us created powerful karmic obligations. It obligated us to want closure. When I died in this life, her spirit conscious experienced PTSD from being abandoned by me again. Even though I came back from the dead, it was a bit too late. She had already shut down to protect from the pain of being abandoned again. We had a life in the 1400s that ended tragically too and needed closure. We have a lot of baggage. It's designer brand stuff and quite gorgeous, but still heavy baggage. The context of our relationship in this current life has been similar. We were not related in any way, but she's like a child in many ways. She does not disagree with that. And I am a natural father figure leader with a very avuncular quality to my character. I have existed in a serving, teaching, healing, mentoring, guiding role to nearly everyone I have been involved with, including people I meet in the most casual manners. That's what I am and what I do, and I stay in my lane and fulfill it as best I can. I try to inspire, motivate, and empower others. That is predominantly the context of all my relationships. And I don't mind. Having a role in others' growth makes me feel important and useful. Much of my endless, virtually unconditional service to those who seek my help is out of karmic obligation. Nearly every client seeking my counseling and guidance in this life is someone I screwed over in a past life. My clients in this life help me pay my bills, both utility and karma. When I go well above the call of duty and help them when no one else can or will, I pay off a karmic debt, and it is a grand relief. To pay back a karmic debt in a healthy, win-win fashion is highly recommended. We share karmic debts with absolutely everyone we become involved with, some good, some bad, but each soul we interact with may be an opportunity to fulfill karmic destinies. Modern life. I was the engineer of the adventures Jeanette and I shared, always wanting to keep things fresh and unique, and they always were. One of our grandest anniversaries was a 2-day backpack in Yosemite and 2 nights of strawberries and champagne at the Grand Yosemite Lodge. She idolized Stevie Nicks in her youth, and when the band finally reunited, I got his tickets, and we went the first night the McVies were back with the Mac. We had listened to Beck lounging nude and in love at my fireplace on many evenings. He was the soundtrack to so much of our courtship, and we saw him in a small deco theater in Santa Barbara and toured Zen Gardens the following day. Ludovico Einaudi at UCLA was the one she said was the most special musical event she had ever heard, even though I'd also taken her to see Tool twice. The concerts, museums, gardens, forests, and parks we toured were carefully selected to be unique and private. Nothing was ordinary nor done in ordinary ways. A few of those concerts were post D-Day. Pussifer in Seattle, Beck at Santa Barbara, and Ludovico at UCLA. Part of my motivation for sharing all of these experiences with her was to always broaden her horizons as a teacher and as a mentor, like a father figure. Our final backpack trip was about a year after NDE Day. It was my first attempt at reclaiming the sacred ritual of backpacking. As I crumbled on the side of a trail, too sad at my broken limitations and being a disappointment, she pep-talked me to keep trying. This 5'2", 100-pound girl, best friend, took the 10-pound bear canister out of my pack and carried it in her arms so I could have enough balance to go on. Against all odds, with her motivation and help, I made it to my haven of Rancheria Falls and made us dinner over a fire in the wilderness, feeling I could go on. We're soulmates. My life has been one legendary event after another. She confessed many times. My life before us was backyard barbecues and shopping. I was totally asleep spiritually and miserable. I just didn't know why. You woke me up. We've done this for each other in a dozen lives, Jeanette. This time it was my turn to wake you. The magic of our legend spilled over for her, and we both reveled in it. It was no longer mine, it became ours again. I had plenty of magic to share. Valentines of Blood and Roses. We all dream of love and deep romance. Even those who become jaded by a broken heart still pine and long for true love. I have counseled dozens and dozens of couples who had been betrayed, abused, neglected, or just lost the spark and magic of honoring a partner they once admired. In spite of this, everyone needs to believe true love exists in the world somewhere. It does. Jeanette and I sustained courtship for over a decade, always keeping our romance fresh, alive, and dynamic. The majority of days of life must pass in mediocrity to survive and remain well. We all got to work, tend to the chores and lustreless duties. I always recognized these tar pits, and we were determined to never get stuck in them. The actual glitter she wore went away, but we never stopped putting in the time and effort to be sexy, fun, alluring, and special to one another. We made conscious effort to live in perpetual courtship as much as possible and make romance in our lives together. The glitter of stable love may not be as shiny, but it has a shine and a sheen that is steady and runs deep. And my poetry may not have been composed daily as it had been once, but I still composed verses to her and to our lives and the mysteries which she was my muse of. The 10th year anniversary we shared in Nepal and India was accompanied with a hardbound book of 10 years of poetry to her. I personally printed, cut, and pasted the over 100 poems inside the pages of a velvet-covered book. Each poem a testified expression of our shared magic. Yes, we had it all. We are beautiful, creative, and enjoy a union of intimacy we all only fantasize of. It is strong and vibrant and spans many lifetimes. We also live in a mundane world. Bills, kids with issues, family dramas, occasional bickering over coffee, and good old argument fights too. We're still human. Our arrangement was one of individual enhancement. I said to her once, a good and healthy partnership is not about completing one another. It is about empowering one another's individuality. If we're each the best persons we can be, then we'll be great partners. My role is not to complete you, but to enhance you. And vice versa. You push me to be more than what I am. I push you to become more of who you are. As we both learn, grow, and improve our character, we both benefit. Then it becomes perpetual. We keep doing it. Neither of us ever settling on who we are, but always accepting each other as what we are today and what we're becoming too. We don't complete each other, we inspire each other. It's real challenging to sustain magic in an unmagical world, where the majority are shallow and selfish and unwilling to reciprocate and to earn reciprocation. She and I both always feel as though we have a secret everyone is trying to figure out, and we're just living it. But just as fate, destiny, karma intervene for us to meet in a fender bender and take vows with each other, this same force of spiritual origins placed that MP3 500 motorbike in our path in a parking lot one night too. Is it true that all good things must come to an end, that death is a part of life, and life only emerges from death? Death and resurrection. One thing dies, another takes life.
That's a challenging chapter for me to read. It's very personal. Okay, let's break for just a moment before we talk about what we've heard. Within the Portal, a near-death experience memoir and guide to spiritual development is available internationally, everywhere books are sold, in print, ebook, and in audio as well, read by the author. Ryan Brown from Whole Life Books says, Within the Portal is this generation's Be Here Now. Harrowing and inspiring, an epic collection of undeniable miracles, says Sarah Rain from Spiritual Network. Krishnanand's lifelong commitment to spirituality makes him a source of genuine spiritual knowledge and how to apply it. Thomas Tobias, Om International. The most unique and revealing near-death experience I've ever interviewed. Jeff Marr from Jeff Marr Podcast. This book just keeps changing my life. Barb Cortez Gardenia, audiobook buyer. Within the Portal is the fifth book by six-time award-winning author Krishnanand, also known as Scott Spackey. Within the Portal reveals the eternal truths taught by the genuine sages, saints, and gurus and masters so you can spiritually develop towards divine love consciousness. Krishnanand is a spiritual trainer to many, and Within the Portal serves as the guidebook. Krishnanand remained in constant dialogue with spiritual beings the entire time during his 9-day coma and continues to connect with them at will to this day. The book breaks down the entire near-death phenomena in an exciting and profound narrative telling. Go to withintheportal.com to sample or order your personalized ebook, print, or audio copy. Use the code Third Eye for free downloads. That's a challenging chapter for me to read. It had to include the magic of our relationship, and I had to speak of it in a way that was fresh and new and current and vibrant. Because I want readers and listeners of this audiobook to grasp and appreciate the beauty and the magic that's available to all of us. The placement of this chapter near the end of Act 1. No spoilers, but the placement and inclusion of this chapter and description of soulmates and our magic together was critical to what comes up in Act 2, at the end of Act 2, Agony in the Garden. I'm not going to spoil it. I think that what's relevant today in the reading and sharing of this chapter, if there's parts you don't understand, because I'm referring to things that happened earlier in the story, and I'm referring to things that are going to be happening soon. I'm doing some foreshadowing. What this book is, what this story is an experience. It wasn't enough for me to just tell of and give you an account of my experience with Soulmate Love. I want to point something out. While this chapter shares the very private and personal example of a past life connection between soulmates, the past life shared here was because of its relevance to the overall story, a memoir of a specific time and set of events. That life had a sorrowful ending to our bond with no closure. Needing closure is one thing that keeps soulmates searching for each other. Our other past lives together were as husband and wife, and the one in the 1400s, we were actually royalty. When I woke from my coma after being on the other side of death within the portal for 9 days, I was confused as to which life and time I was in. My current and past lives were all mashed up. A 9-day coma will give you quite a hangover, especially when you spend it in an in-between dimension. Rules of time don't really apply. My near-death experience life review was of many past lives, not just one. I had no bearings as to what era or place I was actually in when I woke from my coma. When she was at my bedside, the nurse asked me if I knew who she was, and I said, yes, she's the queen. This is because I could not yet identify her as my current wife. I was remembering her from my past life when I was a king and she was a queen in a small province in France. The chapter we just heard only mentions that there were other past lives we shared. Most of the time, soulmates share several lifetimes together. Having had many past life regressions, I have recall of several others she and I shared. We seek our soulmates over lifetimes because we want to complete our journey together and be reunited. I'm working on a new book called Remembrance about soulmates that meet in the 1400s and perform a magical ceremony that will make them inseparable forever. Capital I on the inseparable. It's a certain term. When their ritual is sabotaged by a rival, they are separated, and the story then comes to modern times where they have reincarnated to meet again. It's a supernatural adventure romance, which shows they meet again and again over many lifetimes to complete the inseparable ceremony to remain together forever. It's called Remembrance because in each new life, they always find each other, but only one of them remembers their connection. The one who remembers must carefully cause remembrance for the other so they can complete their soulmate journey together. It's a lot of fun. The saboteur from the 1400s is a sexy pirate who is the heroine's rival. She follows them lifetime after lifetime to keep them apart. The story switches timelines from lifetime to lifetime, from past life to modern era as the mysteries get revealed. The soulmates wanting to complete their ceremony to be together forever is just the microcosm storyline. The macro story is that if they can end a lifetime together for once, it will restore truth and wisdom for humanity. Which, let's face it, the macro story is that if they can end a lifetime together for once, it will restore truth and wisdom for humanity, which we sorely lack. The first ritual takes place at Stonehenge in the 1400s, but the final showdown takes place in Venezuela at a place called the Eternal Storm, a real place that is non-stop lightning storms for months at a time. It's really cool. So you see that soulmate love has a timeless quality to it because when you reunite with a soulmate, you're having a past life regression. You remember them and the love you once shared and are overjoyed to be reunited. Most people may not have past life recall, but the feeling is there just the same. Are you interested in past life regression? One of the services I offer as a spiritual trainer and as a certified clinical hypnotherapist is past life regression. My hypnotherapy certification is from the only hypnotherapy accredited college in the world, and my certification is a clinical one. It permits me to administer hypnosis in a medical situation such as surgery, which I have done. Boy, is that wild and cool. My past life regression service is comprehensive with options. You can sit back, relax, and experience a hypnotic state with past life guidance, or I can train you to do it yourself. I think the best option is both. Have a session of auto-hypnosis with me for a past life regression experience, and in that session, I'll also train you for self-hypnosis so you can continue to do so on your own. By giving you post-hypnotic suggestions, self-hypnosis will be nearly automatic. There is a caution. Once past life regression is activated, it typically causes a chain of them. Memories of several lifetimes usually begin to surface once the first session lights the fuse. Once I had my first past life regression, I had an avalanche of memories surface. Now I do it at will and have had dozens, and my students and clients do as well. It is a wild experience that reveals so many mysteries. Forget 23andMe genetic testing. Past life regression does way more. The greatest compliment that I ever get from my writing is a woman said to me when I asked her how it made her feel, and she said, relieved. Because what was read to her was so intense and so powerful and conveyed in such a way that she said, I don't have to have that experience now because I just did. I don't have to go live it because now I got to live it. Now I get to experience it without having to live it. As I said about learning from my mistakes, a lot easier than learning from your own. We all learn by mistakes. That's how we learn because we're stupid humans. We need to take advantage of and try to learn from other people's mistakes so we don't have to do them on our own. Anyway, I'm digressing. I think one of the things I want to take the opportunity of in this chapter, as I set the stage for, as I continue with the stage of what was happening with Soulmate Love, because this happens after the Happy Accidents and Happy Pilgrims chapters, which tell we met in our first trip across in Asia on our 10-year anniversary. I don't want to spoil it. to understand that soulmate love exists and how it works. We all want it. We all crave it. Part of what inspired me to want to do this topic at this time is because my son just got married after meeting his soulmate. It's a glorious time. I'm choking up. So beautiful to see how it sparks and it's inspiring to see it all start out. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. And what I'd like to do is go ahead and share with you real quick. First of all, I'll show you a picture of Brandon. He's a superhero. See the picture? That's him.
Beautiful couple.
He is 6'2". He's a fucking firefighter. He's not real.
What
I'll
makes
share real
them
quick.
soulmates?
I'm sorry?
I was going to ask what makes them soulmates. How you suppose that they soulmates?
As I mentioned about one of the ways we can identify a soulmate is how we meet. In many ways, how they met is rather conventional. They met at a bar after a long shift at the fire station and went out for a beer. And he simply walked past these two ladies sitting at a table with a child. And he acknowledged the child and said, they goofed off with her and teased her a little bit. And it was kind of a real quick little interaction. He had like one beer there and then they left to go to another place. Coincidentally, these two ladies got up and left and they went to the same bar. Total coincidence. They did not know each other. They never saw each other, nothing like that. And so when they saw him, the friend said to Cassandra, my son's wife, said to her, I dare you. They had a little bet. And if she lost the bet, she had to go invite this guy to have a beer. That's how they met. In many ways, the way they met is conventional standards how they met at a bar. But the fact that they left one bar and then ran into each other at another place a few miles away, that's rare, very rare. Well, they left, they were brought back together. As you saw in my story, that Jeanette and I had actually known each other and met each other and interacted with each other multiple times in our youth, but never knew it. Never knew it. And then when I moved in to where we met, I lived 10 houses from her. Never saw her, never ran with nothing. Then we met in a car accident around the corner. And we both agreed that eventually, after putting us together in the same place multiple times for 25 years or more, finally the universe was like, you know what? Fuck, you guys are supposed to meet and be together. What the fuck? We keep putting you together. Nothing. Let's make you get in an accident. Let's force you together. And then we got in an accident. That's how we met. Little fender bender. So the way that I can identify Cassandra as Brandon's soulmate is basically because I met her and I saw them together. Let me share some that I said in my toast at the wedding. There's about 80 people there in the forest. I said, everyone who is in love right now, please stand up. Everyone who's ever been in love before, please stand up. Everyone who believes in falling in love, please join us. Everyone was on their feet. Either by being in love, having been in love, or believing in being in love. Everyone was on their feet. Everyone had to be included. It's pretty unanimous. Over 8 billion people in the world, and nearly everyone over 18 would stand with us. This makes being in love one of the most common features of the human experience. Yet, when it happens to you, it is the grandest, most life-changing event of your life. It is private, secret, and you're convinced that you can't explain to anyone because it is ineffable. What you're experiencing has never happened to anyone before, never happened to anybody again, and yet it happens to everybody all the time. It is the grandest, most life-changing event of your life, and it is private, secret, and you're convinced you can't explain it. Falling in love empowers you. It makes us all superheroes, capable of anything. And everything we do becomes a testament to the one we love. How we live, work, eat, rest, all becomes a way of expressing to our lover how we feel for them. We do not care if they love us. We are satisfied with loving them. Our lover becomes more than our sanctuary, our secret temple of worship. They become our best friends forever. And they become the best type of BFF. They become the BFF that's DTF. Then I mic dropped that shit and walked away. No, then I said, wait, one more. I said, to Mr. and Mr. Brandon Cassandra Spacky, may you live long in love and prosperity. So, but yeah, I mic dropped. Now, the few people that are my age don't understand the DTF, but everyone else, you know, Brandon's 30. All his friends are there. So they got it. You seem to get it. BBF, that's DTF, that mic drop. So it went over really well. Everyone can agree. everyone's on their feet by either having been in love, either being in love at that moment, been in love, or believing in love and knowing of it and yearning for it. It's universal. And yet, as common this is in 8 billion people around the world, anytime you feel it, you are convinced no one's ever experienced anything like this before. It's never been done before. What I'm experiencing is completely unique, right? And if you've been in love before, you're kind of like, yeah, no, I've been there. I get you. But we know that what they're experiencing is completely unique. I know when I met her, when I saw my son with her, I know they're in a spell. They're in a magical spell that's immune to everything that's bad in the world. Soulmate love is qualitatively different. You could say better, deeper, more rich, because it has a history. Now, all falling in love has this, because in my view, my understanding is that no one that you fall in love with is a brand new soul you never met before. Now, somebody can argue and say, well, you had to have met them at some point in some past life, so it has to be a beginning point. Having access to the past life memories has allowed me to see that my role to Brandon is as a teacher and a mentor. He is not my project or property. I don't even like to use the term my son, like he belongs to me. He was my teacher in a past life, and I get to pay it forward by being his in this one. Knowing my role as a teacher and guide has kept conflict out of our relationship. We are soulmates as teacher and student. We're all eternal. So I do agree that we all have a beginning point, an origin point of a soulmate relationship. My partner, Leah, we have had so many past life regressions together that we have dozens of lifetimes we remember together. And we remember them in detail. What I'm sharing with this toast is I'm telling people that that feeling that you're having when you look at that person and feel that you've known them before, it's because you have. You've known them for many lifetimes. And when you say this, even people that don't even believe in reincarnation whatsoever, if they've been in love, they're like, that explains a lot. Because that's exactly what being in love feels like. Like, I've known this person forever and I just met them. I don't know them, but I don't feel like that at all. I feel like I've known them forever and I feel like I always will. That's the hallmark of love. So in some way, you could say that every love is soulmate love. But I've been in love many times in my life. Many times. 6, 7, I don't know. But soulmate love is different. Different caliber, different quality, different magnitude. And I've had more than one. It's qualitatively different.
It does make sense, both in theory and in practice. You know, when my husband and I first got together, we were totally in a spell, and the feeling was as if we had found each other again.
Yeah, again. It's uncanny. I mean, you know logically that you didn't know this person, and yet you totally feel, and it isn't just a feeling. I make feeling sound trivial. It implies that you're imagining it, or it's just a feeling. You know you've been reunited. You know it. It's no different than when you see a friend that you just haven't seen for a year. You know them. You know it. It's like, oh, it's so great to see you again. Nobody disputes that. When you meet a lover, when you have soulmate love, it's not a question. You're not wondering. You know each other. You know it. Now,
Yeah.
the fun thing is, as a mystic myself, is my capacity, and with my lover Leah, is that we have the capacity and ability and the skills to have past life regression. So we can not only have that feeling of knowing each other for many, many lifetimes, but we know what they were. We have actual clear memories of what they were, the dramas that unfolded and the things that happened. As a mystic, I shared within that story that I referred to several lifetimes with Jeanette. I referred to the one that was tragic, that caused some of the bad karmas that we're going to go through. But I also referred to one in the 1400s that is a whole story. And I've written the whole story. It's an amazing story, powerful, intense, magical, the things that we experienced. And in that lifetime, I actually know who we were, names, which is very rare and hard to find. There's a lot of research, a lot of intuition. Yeah, it's very difficult. But one of the things I think that's important in this topic is what draws people in is, yes, you can have past life regression if you know how to do it. I work as a counselor, as a therapist, and many people would seek me out simply for past life regression as a hypnotherapist. And can I do it? Yes, absolutely. Sit down. It's a process. It's no different than anything else. It's a way of triggering and activating latent memories that are dormant within you, but they're still yours. They still exist. So it's simply about uncovering them. It's a process. And once you know the process, as I do, then you know how to activate them. To the point where I've got to be careful because I meet people and I almost automatically will know them from before. I'll know their history, I know who they were, I know all these kind of things, and I got to block that out because it's not proper for me to know these details about somebody's existence without their permission. So I block all that out. I don't think that I have the right to view that without their permission. But it is fun when you even know some of the actual details of how you knew each other before. It is pretty fun. And it does indeed help you to reconcile karma. Karmic debts and obligations bind us. We reunite with these people because we want to continue our journey with them. And sometimes it's to resolve a karmic debt. Example, the guy that hit me in the face with the truck. Him or someone like him, I did the same thing to in another lifetime. I had a karmic debt to pay. I had to die. I had something come to me. When we understand this, the value of understanding your past life regressions and soulmate connections and these kind of things is to understand the dynamics of the relationship. As I mentioned earlier, that it's not about the label, sister, brother, parent, father, mother, whatever. It's about the context of the relationship. How do you know them? Yes, Brand's my son, but that's not the role. I'm a teacher mentor to him in this lifetime, as he was to me once in a lifetime. So when you understand the context and your karmic context and debts and obligations and responsibility and role to a person, then you can fulfill that role. Then your karmic journeys can not only continue, but they can expand. Rather than, as the phrase goes, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. The benefit of understanding our karmic soulmate connections to people is to be able to anticipate, orchestrate, navigate through our karmic relationship with them. Not just soulmate romantic love. Brand and I are soulmates, not romantic partners. Soulmate father and son, soulmate teacher and student. You and I have past life together. Clearly, we're too close. We get too close and too bound together to not have past life together. And so when we understand this, then we can fulfill that role. It doesn't confuse us. Let's say you have a broken pipe at home. You call a plumber. An electrician shows up. What would you do?
Ask him why he's there.
I'm here to repair something. See, but you're an electrician. What? I got a plumbing problem, man. What does it matter? Electrician, plumber, whatever. It matters a lot. You got to know your role. You got to know what your obligation. You got to know what your skills are. You got to apply the right thing to the right place at the right time. By understanding our karmic relationship with someone, our lover, our children, by understanding these things, the benefit of passive regression experience and awareness is to be able to fill that role. I don't want an electrician who's saying he's a plumber. I want an electrician when I have an electrical problem and a plumber to show up for a plumbing problem. It helps us stay in our lane. We have to know what our role is in every relationship. And until then, we can't fulfill it. As a single parent, I was both mother and father when I was with my son. I was alone. It doesn't mean that I'm a mother. I'm not a mother, and I can't be a mother. I can't be one. I'm not a woman. I can't be one. That's that. But I had to fill that role as best I could, as well as being mindful of my role as a father. I'm there to teach him how to be a man, not a mother. What the fuck do I know about being a mother and a woman? I don't know shit. I can't. I'm not one. I have to fulfill that role as best I can, but I have to remember what my role is to teach him how to be a man, an adult male. That's my role. So I stay in my lane. I understand my role, my definition, my duty. Having access to the past life memories has allowed me to see that my role to Brandon is as a teacher and a mentor. He is not my project or property. I don't even like to use the term my son, like he belongs to me. He was my teacher in a past life, and I get to pay it forward by being his in this one. Knowing my role as a teacher and guide has kept conflict out of our relationship. We are soulmates as teacher and student.
I think with my daughter, who is very strong-willed, and so am I, we've had many instances of bumping up against each other, and you've encouraged me, and we've done a little bit of work and looking at the themes of whatever our past lives connection was.
Themes, yes.
And I settled on a sibling rivalry, and that seems to fit in quite well, and even has been described by other people of like, you guys are just like going at each other, like, and we can do that so quickly where we're just all of a sudden we're up on the ceiling trying to outdo each other.
But
Just tit for
now
tat.
but now that you
But
understand this,
now,
now that you
yeah.
understand this, you have an advantage. Now you can recognize it and you can stop it in its tracks and you can go a different direction. Instead of giving in to impulses, you recognize, say, oh, this is me fulfilling this karmic obligation that I have, and so therefore I can choose a different route. I don't have to do that anymore. I can do something else. You can be aware of it. So you can redirect it.
And because I'm the mother, it's my job, it's my role to be
That's
the one
right.
to change it.
That's
to
right.
rewrite the story, not to fall into these old patterns just because they're there or to use them as an excuse, but to use them as a means of understanding so that I can shift the direction and be a mom, not a
right.
brother.
That's right. Be who you're supposed to be. You know, that's what she needs. She needs a mom. And you need to figure out this rivalry and kind of diffuse that. And you can't. And so we can, instead of being doomed to repeat it, because if we don't learn the lessons that karma is offering us, then we're going to repeat them again and again and again. I don't want to. One thing that I felt when I get hit in the face by a truck was joy. As bad as it is, I was also like, check in the box of that karmic debt. Whatever I did to somebody that caused them such pain and trauma, I paid my debt now. I don't want to. I'd prefer not to pay my bills and have my lights to stay on anyway on their own. That'd be great. But I got to pay the bills. So if I got to pay them, I might as well get it over with. So that's going to wrap it up for Soulmates Indigo Children. Some deep, deep layers here. And again, hopefully what this done is not only reaffirmed and confirmed your understanding and perspectives of soulmate and maybe indigo children, maybe introduce the subject to you, but also give you some new angles to view it as and to be able to benefit from wider angle perceptions, to be able to benefit from them and make these relationships grow and even be more grand. We all want this. We want to reunite with our soulmate again and again and again. Ultimately, think of it this way. What you're trying to achieve is a spiritual utopia, spiritual perfection, to a union of souls that you can become better and better, better and better, evolving and evolving until you become the pinnacle of being spiritual beings. We can do this together. We can do this as a team. It's a team effort. Are we taking advantage of this? Are we doing every weekend with this? Or are we instead allowing ourselves to live in mundanity and worldly circumstances? Let's transcend that. Love is powerful. Soulmate love is profound. And it is available to everyone and anyone. To learn how and to know how. We can do that. It's a science. It works on mechanical principles, and we can understand this. So as magical as it is, it works on principles. Let's tap into them. That'll wrap us up. Thanks for joining us on Probably Open Your Third Eye. To be continued in the near future. I'd like to discuss more about reincarnation and past life regression as a tool. Let's say it's all bogus, hocus pocus bullshit. That's all imaginative. So what? Can you learn from it? Can you benefit from it? So even if your past life regression memories aren't accurate and aren't historically true, who cares? If it's not causing you any harm and you can learn from it, well then run with it. Learn and grow from it.
Thanks for listening.
All right. See you another time. Are you interested in past life regression? One of the services I offer as a spiritual trainer and as a certified clinical hypnotherapist is past life regression. My hypnotherapy certification is from the only hypnotherapy accredited college in the world, and my certification is a clinical one. It permits me to administer hypnosis in a medical situation such as surgery, which I have done. Boy, is that wild and cool. My past life regression service is comprehensive with options. You can sit back, relax, and experience a hypnotic state with past life guidance, or I can train you to do it yourself. I think the best option is both. Have a session of auto-hypnosis with me for a past life regression experience, and in that session I'll also train you for self-hypnosis so you can continue to do so on your own. By giving you post-hypnotic suggestions, self-hypnosis will be nearly automatic. There is a caution. Once past life regression is activated, it typically causes a chain of them. Memories of several lifetimes usually begin to surface once the first session lights the fuse. Once I had my first past life regression, I had an avalanche of memories surface. Now I do it at will and have had dozens, and my students and clients do as well. It is a wild experience that reveals so many mysteries. Forget 23andMe genetic testing. Past life regression does way more. Until next time, leave your third eye open. Full episodes, services, knowledge, and all you'll ever need on scottspacky.com and life-mind.com.
Ocean collide.